What's up, peeps? So this is just sort of random stuff that I have in my camera roll that I have yet to make a video on and figured that I should. So here it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Enjoy, research, see what you can find. Los Angeles orders residents to remain in their homes or face fines and jail time. LA, burn it down. So Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti on Wednesday ordered residents to stay in their homes with some exceptions or face fines and jail time. Subject only to the exception outlined in this order, all persons living within the city of Los Angeles are hereby ordered to remain in their homes, Garcetti said in a public health order. All public and private gatherings of any number of people from more than one household are prohibited, except for outdoor faith-based services and outdoor protests. All travel, including travel on foot, bicycle, and scooter, is prohibited. Only people participating in so-called essential activities are exempt from the order. These activities include healthcare operations, grocery stores, and all media outlets. Businesses deemed non-essential are being ordered to close to the public. Los Angeles County, which has 10 million residents, recorded 2,439 COVID-19 patients in hospitals as of December 2nd. In a press conference on Wednesday, Garcetti, an advisor to Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, told residents to cancel everything. My message couldn't be simpler. It's time to hunker down. It's time to cancel everything. And if it isn't essential, don't do it. Don't meet up with others outside your household. Don't host a gathering. Don't attend a gathering, and follow our targeted safer at home order. If you are able to stay home, he said. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, anyone 17 or older entering Los Angeles must acknowledge reading and understanding the state's travel advisory. They face up to a fine of $500 if they don't sign and submit a form saying so. California Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, issued a near statewide lockdown last month, citing the pandemic. COVID-19 is the disease caused by the CCP. Most patients show few or no symptoms. A small percentage die. Garcetti's order follows county health officials mandating the closure of all in-person dining, even outdoors, for at least 3 weeks. They were unable to provide data for the Board of Supervisors, but the board narrowly approved the mandate anyway. New strands of COVID could render vaccines completely useless, and 2 dangerous mutations are already spreading. This was front page news in Australia. Biden child porn shock. Hunter becomes the hunted amid claims of underage pics on his laptop. Man in a Trump-shaped flotation device charged with assault after breathing on protesters. He was charged with a misdemeanor assault for allegedly breathing heavily on protesters who were outside of Trump National Golf Club. A Trump supporter was charged with a misdemeanor assault on Sunday in Virginia for allegedly breathing heavily on protesters outside of the golf club. Please help, this lady wrote in her tweet, showing a video of a man identified as Raymond coming toward her without a face covering. It's unclear exactly what happened before the video was recorded, but the video shows the man, and he blows his breath towards the protesters. In the video, he can be seen wearing an inflatable flotation device around his waist in the shape of Trump. He crossed the street to assault 2 senior citizens, Bennett wrote in her tweet. Want to identify in case contact tracing becomes necessary. She refers to him later tweets as the COVID monster. Come on, you guys, breathing. And the man didn't have COVID. Update. So silly. Now, one of my favorite stories, a man who attacked his ex-girlfriend, fatally stabbed and beaten by her mom and sister. A man who broke into his ex-girlfriend's California home and attacked her was killed by the woman's mother and sister, who used golf clubs and a kitchen knife to defend her, police said. The man, identified as 40-year-old Justin Goss, hurled a large concrete paver through the front window of the South Pasadena home on Saturday and then stepped inside. He began choking and punching his ex in the face, according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. That's when the 37-year-old woman's mom and sister jumped into action, stabbing Gross with a knife and beating him with a golf club. They tried to pull him off, and it didn't work. He was too strong, so they had to resort to using weapons. South Pasadena police officers found the home's front window shattered and heard the woman's screams coming from inside when they responded to a domestic violence call shortly before 10 a.m. Gross was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim was taken to a hospital to be treated for injuries to her face and released. Her mom and sister won't be facing charges as they were well within their rights to act in defense of their sister and daughter, he said. Yay, one for the little guys. Newly elected Republican Boebert asks about carrying a gun on Capitol grounds. The Republican from Western Colorado carries a Glock on her hip. She's the owner of Shooter's Bar and Grill in Rifle, Colorado. Republican Lauren Boebert, 33, was elected this month from a conservative Western Colorado district after gathering notice as a brash pro-gun activist who straps a Glock to her hip. Trump endorsed her as a fighter who will never back down to the establishment in Congress. Yes. 3 Marine vets charged after forming anti-BLM death squad, feds say. In October, 3 Marine veterans were arrested and charged by the Department of Justice for alleged conspiracy to unlawfully manufacture, possess, and distribute various weapons, ammunition, and suppressors. It wasn't until recently that the full scope of the arrests and federal charges against them was known. QAnon's rise in Japan shows conspiracy theories' global spread. Sean Connery's cause of death has been revealed. On October 31st, legendary actor Sean Connery passed away at age 90. That's it, guys. He was 90. I'm pretty sure that is his cause of death. I just revealed it. A year after Wuhan alarm, China seeks to change COVID origin story. Nearly a year after doctors identified the first case, the county appears to be stepping up a campaign to question the origins of the COVID-19 virus. Type O blood linked to lower COVID risk. Taking vitamin D unlikely to help. I'm going to go ahead and call big bullshit on that one, guys. Take your vitamins. It will help. So stupid. Physicists could do the impossible, create and destroy magnetic fields from afar. A new study circumvents a 178-year-old theory. Scientists have figured out a way to create and cancel magnetic fields from afar. The method involves running electric current through a special arrangement of wires to create a magnetic field that looks as if it came from another source. The illusion has real applications. Imagine a cancer drug that could be delivered directly to a tumor deep in the body by capsules made of magnetic nanoparticles. It's not possible to stick a magnet in the tumor to guide the nanoparticles on their journey, but if you could create a magnetic field from outside the body centered right on that tumor, you could deliver the drug without an invasive procedure. Satan offering Black Friday deal to trade only 50% of the soul for a lifetime of riches. Ninth Circle of Hell claiming that untold wealth could be yours for the low price of half of your immortal essence. Satan, the great tempter and prince of darkness, announced this morning a Black Friday deal in which human beings could trade a mere 50% of their soul for a lifetime of riches. If you've ever dreamed of being rich beyond your wildest imagination but didn't want to give up your entire soul to do it, then have I got a deal for you, said the father of lies, speaking in a hideous gruntal tones as he explained that fortune, power, and influence had never been more affordable than they were right now to mortals who scrawled the promo code in blood upon their door of their home. Finally, it's possible to become one of the wealthiest people on the planet while still retaining a small part of what makes you human. Act now before you end up poor and destitute. And don't forget, I'm willing to match whatever offer God makes you. That's a promise. At press time, Satan had reportedly offered to throw in a free year of Apple TV with each qualifying purchase. That's satire, guys. It's just satire. The virus won't stop evolving when a vaccine arrives. Friendly reminder. A massive security fail by Apple allowed total remote control of iPhones via Wi-Fi. Let's see. The vulnerability was not just a theoretical risk, a noted Google security researcher said. The jaw-dropping exploit was demonstrated by Google Project Zero security researcher Ian Beer. The project is designed to identify vulnerabilities. Jupiter and Saturn will align to create the first Christmas star in nearly 800 years. That's amazing. So this is the Star of Bethlehem, the Christmas star. This is the first and only time that any of us have been able to see it, so check it out. It'll happen on December 21st, the December solstice. Jupiter and Saturn will align so closely in the night sky, they'll almost appear to collide, which will create the Christmas star, the Star of Bethlehem, the one that they followed to find Jesus. Very cool. Make sure you check it out. Ex-Arizona politician gets 6 years in adoption scheme. A former Arizona politician who admitted running an illegal adoption scheme in 3 states involving women from the Marshall Islands was sentenced in Arkansas to 6 years in federal prison. It was the first of 3 punishments he'll face for arranging adoptions. Prohibited by an international compact. Paul Peterson, a Republican who served as Metro Phoenix's assessor for 6 years and also worked as an adoption attorney, illegally paid women from the Pacific Island nation to come up to the U.S. and give their babies up in at least 70 adoption cases in Arizona, Utah, and Arkansas. Marshall Islands citizens have been prohibited from traveling to the U.S. for adoption purposes since 2003, and prosecutors said Peterson's scheme lasted 3 years. Judge Timothy Brooks, who imposed the sentence from Fayette, Arkansas, said Peterson abused his position as an attorney by misleading or instructing others to lie to courts in adoptions that wouldn't have been approved had the truth been told to them. The judge said Peterson turned what should be a joyous adoption occasion into a baby-selling enterprise. He also described Peterson's adoption practice as criminal livelihood and said he ripped off taxpayers at the same time he was elected to serve them. Brooks rejected Peterson's claims that he initially thought he was acting within the bounds of the law, but later realized what he was doing was illegal. You knew that lying and making these false statements to immigration officials and state courts was wrong, said Brooks, who gave Peterson 2 years longer in prison than sentencing guidelines recommended. Appearing by video conference, Peterson told the judge that his actions in Arkansas case weren't indicative of who he is as a person, and offered an apology to any birth mothers who felt disrespected by his treatment of them. Well, it's nice to know he's in there for